Hello and welcome to 2022's first edition of Merrill's Monday Morning Market Madness. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at obviously what our current month supply of inventory numbers are, but then just doing a quick review of what some of the major numbers were in 2021 and a look ahead at what we expect to see in 2022. So right now, active on the market, we have 5,705 listings. There are 9,594 that are currently pending. 8,062 that have sold in the past 30 days, which gives us a month supply of inventory of 0.71. That is a little lower than we have been trending. We've been in the low 0.6s, but because no homes have been able to close for the past 3 days in a row with the holiday weekend. So the C30 number, the whole number of homes that have sold in the past 30 days is a little lower because we're down a couple of business days. But the 5,705 active listings, just to give that some perspective, 2020 was a pretty crazy year. We saw average home prices increase by more than 20%. And we started 2020 with 6,011 active listings. So we actually have 300 fewer active listings today, which is, not a huge dip, but it's about 5% fewer active listings now than we had at this same time last year. So we're kind of, because of how low inventory is, and it's even lower now than it was a year ago, we're expecting to continue to see a pretty tough year from an inventory standpoint. The very, very few homes available for sale is going to continue to be upward pressure on prices. So in December, this number was crazy. In December, we saw 9,310 homes close in our MLS in the month of December, which the 5-year average, like looking back at the previous 5 years, the 5-year average for the number of homes that close in December was 7,718. So pretty significant increase over the average. Again, we're really not seeing a slip in demand at all. Demand remains higher than normal with 9,310 closings in December, which historically has been one of the slowest months of the year. Of all the homes that closed in December, the average sales price was $529,043. The average in December of 2020 was 432,000. So average increase in prices from December of 2020 to December of 2021 is 22.3%. So how about for the whole year? So for the whole year, we saw a total of 110,488 closings. Just for fun, I know this stat's probably not relevant to anybody other than it's just interesting. Total volume of 54,600,000,000. Now, 2020, which was a little funky because of COVID, but 2020 shattered all the records for the most number of homes sold, the highest volume. 2020 had 105,000 closings. So we actually in 2021 sold 5,000 more homes than we did in 2020. And obviously with average prices having increased as much as they did, crushed the volume. The 2020 volume was 41 billion. So we saw an increase in sales volume in the Phoenix metro area of $13 billion. And this is just MLS sales, by the way, not looking at, private sales or anything like that. So all these stats that I always share are from the MLS. So with an increase of $13 billion, and of course, there's always a lot of off MLS, especially with all the iBuyer activity, lots of off MLS sales. So huge increase, a lot of money from other markets. $13 billion to be exact, more than the previous year came into Phoenix. So another thing that was interesting, So the average price in 2020 for the whole year was 394,000. The average price for the whole year in 2021 was 494,000. So pretty much exactly in average sales price increase from 2020 to 2021 of $100,000. And then the other stat that I found incredibly fascinating, because 2020 was a crazy year. It's not like 2020 was, all slow. 2020, the market was insane that year. And I want to say average prices increased in 2020. I'd have to go back and look, but they increased by more than 10% in 2020. And then they, of course, increased by more than 20% in 2021. But the average days on market in 2020 was 50. So all the homes that closed in 2020, the average time on market was 50 days. The average days on market in 2021 was only 31 days. So a very, very dramatic, significant drop in the average days on market in 2021. Homes were selling almost twice as fast in 2021. And remember, we're going into 2022 with even less, not by a lot, but even fewer homes available today than there were at the beginning of 2021. So that is why we are expecting another really wild ride. Now, the National Association of Realtors gathered a group of 20 top economic and housing analysts and asked them to predict their, what they expect for the housing market in 2022. And their national prediction for home values across the country is 5.7%. I maintain in the Phoenix area, we are going to see at least 10, if not closer to 15%. Because for a major, why would we be doing so much more than the national average? Well, number one, our inventory situation is more dire than a lot of the areas across the country. The whole country is seeing an inventory shortage, but it's really severe here. Number two, affordability compared to the other major metropolitan areas, especially along the West Coast. You think about all the places in California and Portland and Seattle and even Denver and Salt Lake City, and a lot of those markets. Phoenix is still more affordable than most of those destinations. So, and then of course, I believe we'll continue to see quite a few people coming from California for, affordability and for political reasons and, all of that. So I maintain that we are going to see, average prices increase in the Phoenix area by more than 10%. Again, nationally, they're expecting about 6%, which honestly is pretty close to what inflation is right now. It's actually slightly less than what inflation is right now. So unless inflation slows down, that's really just housing maintaining inflation. And I think Phoenix is going to do a lot more than that. I honestly think that it'll be closer to 15%. No one's got a crystal ball, of course. The one major factor that I think will play a role in home values that it makes it hard to predict is interest rates. Right now, average interest rates are at roughly 3% exactly. I think I looked at it this morning, 3.1 or what was it at? It was 3.11 is average interest rates this morning. According to Freddie Mac's website, which is pretty much, it's been right around 3%. I mean, sometimes we dip below, sometimes we dip above. We were as high as 3.18%, but at 3.11%, affordability is still pretty strong. Obviously, it's getting harder and harder every day, especially for first-time home buyers. But when rates go above 4%, that could have a dramatically negative impact on the housing market. Not to the point where I think home values would fall, but definitely to the point where home values would probably stop rising at such a dramatic pace. Everyone is expecting interest rates to rise throughout the year of 2022 as the Fed does more to try to combat inflation. Typically, when you have high inflation, you usually have higher interest rates. We have a really unique anomaly right now where we have high inflation and super low interest rates, and that probably can't continue. So a lot of people are expecting rates to go up in 2022. So if you're thinking of making a move, I would do it as early in 2022 as possible. Although what I've read is that rates probably even throughout 2022 will, by the end of the year, I think I saw that the average predicted rate is still like 3.9%. So economists are predicting rates will stay below 4% throughout the entire year, but they will inch up throughout the year. As long as rates stay below 4 or even 4.5, I think the market's going to stay very, very strong. So there you have it. Demand remains high, supply is lower than ever, and we are getting ready to head into a very, very busy year for 2022. So I hope you found this information helpful. If you would like to get an update regarding what's going on more specifically in your neighborhood, or more specifically, the value of your home or anything like that, or you want to see some specific stats that I haven't shared, I would be more than happy to look that up if it's a stat I'm able to obtain. I love looking into this stuff and helping people out. So please feel free to reach out to me, and I hope you found this helpful, and you all have a great day, have a great week, have a great year.